Look at the sort of higher time frames, it's going to be a lot harder or less probable that I'll get the day trade correct. Now there are certain strategies that we use that are perfect for any market, and I will execute those, but if I don't have the higher time frame really clear, I'll just reduce my size, okay? Because essentially what I'm trying to do is, if you need to understand probabilities. Once you understand probabilities, then you can size your trades accordingly. Hope that helps anyway. So this is a brief diagram about belief systems, and this is what we mentioned earlier. So you have a belief. Based on that belief, you take an action, and that action gives you a result, and that result will then add strength to the belief. So what you need to do is actually you need to work on your actions, okay? Because everybody, we can probably all agree, especially after what we've been through just now, that everybody knows the good actions of a successful trader. What you need to be doing. We'll mention a few more things, but the things that you need to be, the routines that you need to build, your mindset, everything else. So if you know what they are, you can measure yourself. How good are you putting those actions together? Because what that will do is that action will then create a different result. So if you're actioning a negative belief system, your result will probably end up being negative. So a negative belief system, as we mentioned earlier, could be making money is hard. So if you had that kind of belief system, your action will be probably in line with that belief system, and then your results will also mean you probably losing money. But even if you have that belief ingrained in you, if you took an action that said, right, I'm executing my trade plan, this is my set trade plan, I've got fixed rules, and if I execute this well, I'm going to get really good results, and this result is going to give me my goals, okay, which we'll speak about in just a moment. And that will give you the motivation and the drive to actually execute something that feels uncomfortable, but actually is the right way to trade. Hope that makes sense. So here's just a few things that you can do. So to build that psychological mindset. So what you put in your body, you're eating healthy, exercising. Again, this will definitely help you think more clearly. If you're feeling tired, you're thinking with your emotions. If you're feeling energetic, you'll be thinking more with your logic, and that's the side of the brain we want to be thinking more of. Okay, use the emotional side to get excited about your goals, about the things that you're going to achieve, but use your logical side to execute your trades. You need to try and identify your negative habits and put a process together to change them. We're not talking about your beliefs yet, we're talking about your negative habits. Everybody knows them. That, for example, there must be things that you do that are detriment to your trading. Like, are you kind of emailing at the same time as trading and not focused, or perhaps like drinking the night before, or drinking alcohol and therefore you're tired, or you're not sleeping enough. We've all got these habits, so you need to identify them and then put something into practice and realize that if you don't change them, then your results won't change either. Build success rituals. If anybody's kind of listened to any some of you guys probably have, like any sort of NLP stuff, like you've got Anthony Robbins. I really recommend, if you haven't listened to him, he's got some great stuff. He's American. For some people, it's a little bit OTT, but things like that really help myself to just really focus on where I'm going, just really train my brain to think about the positives, not the negatives. So we do things like your incantations, visualization, focus goals, trade journaling, we mentioned, planning, resting, having fun. Just kind of like, these are rituals you can just add to your trade plan. Again, I like to watch motivational videos or listen to certain music. I've got a playlist. This really helps myself to just to sort of be, when you're kind of, everybody goes through it, when you're feeling a little bit tired, or you're not quite feeling the markets, or whatever it is, certain things make you feel good, and you want to think about those things before you start trading. And so if I'm feeling tired or just a little bit disheartened or whatever else, I'll put some music that I've got on my phone, and I know that will just kind of instantly change my mindset. Again, we mentioned this earlier, but again, it's very important. Reward yourself for good work. Keep yourself informed all the time. Look for new strategies, read articles, exchange trading ideas with other traders. Now, I'm going to just emphasize something here. I'm not talking about continuously changing what you do. Find what works, use it, but always look to develop. Okay, so how can you improve what you're doing? Don't just switch from one strategy and it doesn't work for a couple of trades and then you switch to another one, or you kind of listen to a webinar and they teach you something new and you change it. By all means, put it kind of into sort of like into something where you can go and test it and look at ideas, but don't change what works. Okay. Brilliant. Charles, that's fantastic. Charles is already doing what I've spoken about. So Charles says, my phone is full of motivational songs for when I walk and do sports. Fantastic. That's great. And that's great. And if you find yourself ever sort of not feeling 100% when you're trading, that's a good thing to sort of do for trading as well. And you might want to sort of try and find a specific playlist for trading. I kind of like even motivational speeches. You can get them off YouTube. Download them as well and just stick them in your phone. So again, let's just carry on with this successful trader. What he does, he trades with absolute objectivity. So M. Epstein said, ours is not to say what should be, but to analyze and exploit what is. Okay, you've got to try and be objective. Don't put your opinions on the markets. Okay, just be objective. Think about it. When you've got nothing invested in a trade, you can see things clearly. In fact, sometimes if you're in a trade and you're just feeling uncomfortable, I'd almost recommend that you close your trade and then you can be free from that sort of emotional roller coaster, and then you can look at the markets as they are. Okay, not how you want them to be. It's a natural thing when you've taken a position, all you can think is you just start to make up things of why it's going to go in your favor. But actually it's going to hold here. I'm sure you've probably heard yourself do it. It's going to hold here, or I'm just going to move my stop down a little bit. Just don't do those things. You need to just be objective. You need to be just absolutely, it's A or B. That's it. What am I seeing? And that's when your trade plan is clear. It's very easy to see that. And if it's not, it's very difficult to see that. Accept that anything can happen. This is Mark Douglas's quote. This is not mine. Anything can happen at any time. Okay, and that is very, very true. No matter how good your setup is, like I've never come across a system which is 100% winning system. Okay, in my opinion, it doesn't exist. So if you haven't got a 100% winning system, it means at some point your system will lose. Okay, you've got to accept that. No matter how good it is, even if it's a 9 out of 10 system, 1 out of 10 it could happen. So anything can happen, and accept that fully. And that's hard to do, but you have to. And if you accept it, you're going to then put the correct risk on the trade. And if you don't, that's when you tend to kind of risk too much, because what do you focus on? You focus on the amount of money you're going to make. Okay, and that's only that, and if that doesn't work and suddenly your trade is a losing trade, already you've messed up your psychology. And what do you want to do next? You're annoyed and you want to make that money back. So you've just gone into a downtrend, as we want to say in trading. You've just one silly move has just suddenly put you on the wrong side of the market. Build a set of rules that you can follow consistently. Understand the probabilities, okay, and learn winning strategies to get an edge. And if you apply all the above, you ultimately will succeed. And remember, this profession is not supposed to be easy, but it can be simple. Okay, that's our job. It's our job to make this simple. It's our job to actually find ways that we can just say, right, this, and this has happened. I need to do this now, and this is how I manage it. And that's what, if you don't have that, that's what, we can help you with. So I want to ask yourself, I want you to ask yourself, how am I different from the masses? Now, I'm sure you guys have heard, if you haven't already, this is not a profession where everybody wins, right? Everybody know that? Anybody know roughly the amount of successful traders out there? Percentage-wise, do you guys want to guess? And I'm not going to give you an exact number, but I want to see, ballpark figure, how many people succeed, just to see if we're all on the same page. Okay, great. Got a few people typing in. Brilliant. Very good. Okay, so you guys are very aware of what kind of profession you're coming into. Okay, so I'll just tell you the general consensus was between 2 and 10%. 100 million. Well, yeah, and I would say that's about accurate. Okay, no one knows the exact statistics, and even if you said to me 20%, okay, You know, even if you took the absolute extreme, it's still a much smaller percentage than those that fail. So ask yourself, how am I going to be different from the masses? You know, what's going to make you unique? Think about it. It's a zero-sum game. Now, have you ever thought about that? That when you win, somebody loses, and that is the reality. It's a zero-sum game. Money gets switched from accounts. Okay, the broker takes his commission, and then whatever's left over is, you know, you've got your small percentage of winning trades that are basically controlling the money, and then you've got the masses. So think about it. Anybody kind of got any ideas from today, like, you know, what's going to make you different? Anything that you can implement straight away? Maybe just type something up, even if it's just one small thing. It will really help just to sort of think about it. You know, and I'll kind of try and give you some ideas as well. But, you know, everything we've spoken about today is ultimately things that you can implement. So the general thing I'm getting here is, you know, more back testing, filling in trade journals, detailed trade journals, better planning. Yep, another one, trade journal. Yep, perfect. Exactly, perfect. You know, I'm glad, you know, most of you guys have put, you know, the things that I really wanted you to get from today. Great, thank you, Charles. I appreciate that. Charles just said things look much clearer about the importance of following my rules. Is an excellent presentation. Thank you very much for that. Right, so we just go back for a minute. So the other thing you want to think about is, you know, how you're going to keep going when you have setbacks, okay? Because again, that's what makes a successful trader. You know, what's going to make you strong? Always have this in your mind. This is what I always think about. It's not what happens, it's how you deal with what happens. Really, always think about that. And you've got to think, you know, if I'm going to be one of the successful people, what will the masses think right now? Let me give you a scenario. So you take a trade, good trade. The market comes down, it takes you out by a pip. Has that happened to anybody? I'm sure for you guys that have been trading for anything a year onward, I'm sure that's happened to you. What you get instantly annoyed, right? Absolutely. The natural thing is damn, the market took me out, and you're going to be annoyed, especially let's say you took your 0.5%, it would have been a big winning trade. But then you've got to think to yourself, right, how is everybody else thinking right now? If that happened to a losing trader, what would they'd get annoyed, they'd get frustrated, they'd go and overtrade, they'd go into the markets again, and they try and make that money back up, or they just jump in a bit bigger or jump in late, don't follow the rules. Then you've got to think, how am I going to do it? You're going to accept that anything can happen at any time. You could be stopped out. You're going to be objective. You're going to regroup. And if you're feeling emotional, you go for a walk, you go to the gym, get back your control. Don't worry about it. The most important thing to remember is, if you know the formula for making money, it doesn't matter if you've missed one trade. Doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. That's not what's going to make you rich or, you know, successful at trading. It's actually being able to continuously repeat these processes, because I can bet you any money that you're also going to have it go in your favor, which you don't really remember as well, where it just misses your stop and it goes and hits your target. But we tend to kind of focus on the things that happen against us. So remember those things. So when you're looking at your next trade, something like that happens, just remember, it's just part of the process. And don't worry about it. Don't follow the sort of negative traits of traders. Very good. I'm getting some great comments here. Yeah, James, exactly. So you look again. You look for the signal again. You look for a setup again, and you don't sort of just go back, jump in. Exactly. You just say, right, don't worry about it. That's a trade that's happened. If you still believe in the trade and you still think it's a good trade,